Adventure, a Once Upon a Time podcast. Season 3, Episode 2, Lost Girl. In this episode, Peter Pan offers Emma a map that will help her find Henry. I'm your host, Molly Southgate, and with me is...
Martha Southgate.
And...
Rob Southgate.
Woo!
So, Molly.
Alright, so it's called Lost Girl. Did you see that coming? Did you see why?
Did you have any ideas why it was called Lost Girl?
No, I didn't.
Martha, did you?
I thought someone was going to get lost.
Or
they were going to find a lost girl.
That's what I thought. They were going to find a girl on the island who would be like the Lost Boys, but a girl.
That's what I thought. I thought there was going to be a girl among all the Lost Boys. There's going to be a girl.
Right. But that's not it.
Emma.
The Lost Girl is Emma.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what was your favorite part of this episode? This was one that was one of those that just kind of moved things forward.
I don't know that I loved any part of it because it was kind of...
Yeah.
Now, there were a lot of parts that were painful. It was a lot,
Right.
Emma was sad.
Yes.
Snow White sad.
Right,
their backstory's sad.
Yes.
And Rumpelstiltskin's sad.
So, did you guys have a favorite part?
I had a favorite line.
Okay, let's hear your favorite line.
When Emma was talking about who she is as a person now, and she said, I'm a mother, I'm this, and then she said, and I'm now the sheriff of Storybrooke. And Regina yells over, that election was a sham. I thought, really?
Yeah.
Not even in Storybrooke, you can't let it go.
Oh, you can't let it go.
Yeah, I thought that was really...
That's next season. Yeah, I got it. So... I actually liked a couple of things in this, but I agree. This was more of a just kind of moving the story forward a little bit. Not a lot of big things happening. A lot of backstory-ish kind of things. I liked when I was completely fooled that it was Excalibur.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
I thought that was...
And
that he was being honest with it.
I loved that whole scene. Like when he went to do... But it's funny because when he went to pull the sword, I thought... It looks like he can move it.
It was wiggling and everything.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I didn't remember that from...
And she went up and she pulled it out, and I'm like... I just thought that was fine then, but when he first grabbed it, I thought, it looks like it's moving a little bit. So that was...
Because it clinked.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool that they did that. Like, because when you think about it later, it's like, yeah, that was fake. And I also liked the scene where... I thought this was just really cool.
There's no...
Where she found...
Holy light shining on her.
Where she found Peter, and he was standing there in Henry's clothes.
Peter.
Pan.
We called him Pan.
And they found him in Pan's clothes. Or they found Pan in Henry's clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
And
creepy.
he turned around. Like, obviously, I knew that wasn't Henry.
Right.
When you saw him. But she ran up and she goes, Henry! And then he turns around. I thought that whole scene...
Good thing she didn't hug him.
Yeah. That was all pretty cool. So, and I like that he keeps appearing to people before they know who he is. Now everyone knows who he is, but you know, at first he appeared to Henry and tricked him. Now he tricked Emma.
Yep.
I thought that was all really well done.
I agree.
So Molly, did you have any favorite lines in it? Was there anything that stood out to you?
I thought it was cool with the doll.
Oh, the doll was really cool. What happened with the doll? Tell us.
When it just when it kept coming back, that was for.
So what do you think happened there?
It just kept coming back. Like he burned it, like.
And then it was
dropped
back.
down, and he's like, "Okay, I'll burn it." Then he burned it and hit it.
How do you think it dropped down, though? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. And then
Mom had a theory.
At first, I thought it was Tinkerbell.
But
I think so,
I didn't
too.
see the wings, but I was hearing the wings flapping.
Yes, because you had us rewind it, and I was looking for the wings on the rewind, but boy, it clearly sounded like wings flapping. So, do you think it's Tinkerbell, or do you think it's like Silver Mist, or
I think it's magic.
Fairy Gary, or one of those guys?
I think it's magic.
Okay.
The other thing is about the doll.
Yes.
We know that the doll...
Maybe the doll's enchanted. Maybe it will always come back.
Gonna keep coming back to him. That's a good thought.
Because it kept coming back.
Yes.
And we know that the doll is the last thing that his father gave him.
Right.
When he was
we
boy.
found that out because in the last episode we didn't know what that doll was, and we were thinking maybe he was a lost boy, or maybe
I was
he had a brother
hoping he
that was
and Pam
taken.
were brothers, but
Yep.
That could still be.
You think?
There's still a possibility.
So
very possible.
Okay, I know another favorite part is when Rumple. At first, I loved when he made his campfire because he has that ball of fire in his hand and he just had to light it. But when he cut off his shadow.
Oh my gosh, that was cool.
Feel it.
See, now this was cool.
Yeah, I felt in my body, like I thought, I could feel that.
It had like the sparks going off.
Yeah, it was really weird. But I thought
now,
he was doing it to
when you cut your shadow off, did it fly off?
No. I thought he was doing it actually to kill it.
Yes.
I thought maybe it's a way to protect himself. Like when
but
people
instead he was having
hearts.
it take his
he was having it do his bidding.
Yes.
And he was going to have him hide his sword so no one could find him.
Not
even him.
But it still was that people couldn't rip it off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why do you think...
That people can't rip it off.
Right, they can't just rip it off of him and control him that way. Mm-hmm. So why do you think Emma won't admit she's the savior? Why do you think she keeps denying it? Because at this point, we've had her had to admit it a couple of times in order, like the whole thing on Storybook, when she finally accepted it, that's when everything
That
made
wasn't
sense.
what he was saying, though, for the map. That didn't work.
But here she was denying it again, and I wonder, is there a reason she's still denying it? I think she's humble. Okay.
I think she's humble? I do. I think she just doesn't... I think it's embarrassing for her to be special.
That's like embarrassing.
I think that she's lived so long feeling unloved and not special and a victim that I think it makes her uncomfortable to have something good happen to her and to be seen as special.
That makes sense.
So
it's a very hard thing to accept like that. I get it.
Well, when they were walking on their hike and they were going to find Henry, they were trying to find the Peter Pan's lair.
Yeah.
And I loved Regina because it's a nasty hike.
Oh, man, yeah.
And Regina says, I could have just poofed us all up here.
I could have poofed us.
I really thought that was awesome. And
and his explanation was good. You can't because you don't know what you're going to run into or where you're going to land. And there was another point when one of you said, why didn't you just poof them up there? Mm-hmm. Same reason.
Right.
They didn't say it, but it was like, yeah, same reason. That poisonous plant.
Yeah, that's going to come back.
That is going to be a problem. And what if they poofed into one of those?
Right.
Yeah.
Dead. Now, that was also another thing. They said, Hook said to be careful. The Lost Boys laced their arrows in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then who got hit?
David.
With a sword, not an arrow.
No, with an arrow.
With an arrow.
What?
Yeah, it shot and went zing, right past him. And then when he lifted his shirt, you could see the black lines coming out of it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I was thinking it was a sword.
They could have done it to their sword, but it was an arrow.
But they don't have swords.
You don't have swords.
Yeah, you don't. You clearly don't have swords.
Snow White asks Emma.
I clearly do.
Right.
Snow White asks Emma to call her mom.
Yes.
That was an awkward, horrible moment.
Yes.
And I felt sorry for both of them.
Yes.
And now we shall move on.
Yes.
So Hook wants them to make camp. So they set up camp.
Yeah, and Regina doesn't want to. She wants to keep going, but they're like, look, we will die if we keep going.
Emma hears a baby crying, so she gets up and wanders from camp, and that's when she comes across Pan, who gives her the map.
So that's what got her to come
And he said, how come you're,
Wait, she heard a baby crying? Because she went out and collected berries.
No, that was before. It was at nighttime and everybody was sleeping and she heard the baby crying.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
She got up and he said, how come you're the only one who heard the baby crying?
Right. Because not only is she an orphan, but she orphaned Henry. Mm-hmm.
So, interesting. And, let's see.
Dream Shade, that's the name of that stuff. I just remembered.
That's the name of the bush?
Yep, and then we saw that dripping off of there. That's scary stuff.
Yeah.
That's the same stuff that Hook had used before, and he said, I used it in a concentrated form. If you use it this way, it's a very slow and painful death.
I remembered another line I liked from this part of the show.
Okay.
When Hook and Charming started to agree with each other. And
oh, this is great.
And Hook says to Charming, oh, I'm winning you over. I can feel it. I really like
I love Hook in this. I love all these guys.
Yeah, I do too.
But I think Hook is very funny, especially here in Neverland. He's like on his home turf.
Well, and David is very plain and just blah. He doesn't get good lines.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything fun. He's not a fun guy.
Right.
He's just very straight and flat. And I think that
Hook is a little more wild. Well, and
I think it's good. I mean, I don't think it's wrong for the show.
Like when he asked Emma, "How do they portray me in the books?" Because he's thinking, I'm going to be, I know I'm a villain.
Wax mustache and perms.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, perms aren't so good." That was really good.
We just watched Hook.
Yeah.
With Robin Williams.
And he was wearing he had white hair, and then he had this. It was creepy because he had white hair, but then his mustache and stuff was black.
Oh, when he didn't have his wig on.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think where. Okay, so Regina put the locator spell on the parchment.
Yes.
Because she finally gave up.
Yeah, she gave up.
Because Emma was not getting what it was that she was supposed to do.
Yeah, and I love when Hook says, "I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't use magic. You're breaking the rules." And Pan doesn't like the rules broken. And we knew that because he does that weird thing. He gets upset at weird things. You know that, you're breaking the rules. Now everything bad is going to happen. Mm-hmm. And what does he do? As soon as they get there, he's like, yeah, you broke the rules. Now you're not seeing Henry.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So they wind around, follow the map. They find Pan. That's when he's dressed like Henry. Yeah. And then they get surrounded by all the Lost Boys and they have the fight.
Right.
But before the fight starts, Regina says, "Wait, Pan is there. I can feel his smugness."
I can feel his smugness.
That was funny.
So I liked that part.
I can feel his smugness. That's my favorite.
Oh, and they mention Rufio.
When did they mention Rufio? I missed it.
Hook and
Did
Pan...
he say bangarang? Because he says that in Hook.
Hook and Pan are fighting, and...
No, it wasn't Pan. It was the main Lost Boy.
Oh.
The other one.
And Hook says, "Remember what I did to Rufio?"
Oh, is that what he said? I heard him say remember, and then I didn't understand what he said. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and as I said, we just watched Hook.
What did he do to Rufio in the movie?
He killed him.
Did he kill him in the movie? Mm-hmm. Did he?
Yeah.
What kind of adult content movies are you guys watching here?
Well, and so then Emma...
Actually, you mean kid content?
Yeah, kid content.
Emma admits to Snow about being a lost girl, and she feels like an orphan, even though
she's right
Snow
there.
and Charming are there, and it doesn't matter.
It's been, a number of years without a parent.
Well, and they're the same age. It's hard to feel like you're being parented by somebody who's your exact same age.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the map appears.
Well, you're a month older than me, and I feel like it sometimes.
That's just creepy, Dad.
So...
Just creepy.
And you are just creepy.
Pan talks to Emma about Henry, and he's talking to her about, he's like, "You've never forgiven your parents."
Yes.
And Henry hasn't forgiven you, and you're going to suffer for the rest of your life. Because you gave him...
That was when he said the line, too. "Is it okay if I call you Lost Girl?"
Right.
Yep. So, this is interesting. I hadn't thought of these concepts going into this. That she's a lost girl, and when she's on that island, it kind of changes her story.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Henry, too.
So Snow...
What do you think he meant by that, though? Because he said when you find Henry, now you're going to understand why...
Oh, Henry's so angry.
Right. Like why he's going to be rejecting you or why he feels that way.
And then he said the longer he stays here, the more that he's never going to leave. He's not going to want to leave.
Right. But is he that angry at Emma? Because...
Yeah. Oh my gosh, haven't you been watching any of the other episodes?
No, I haven't. It's only been 45. But
I'm telling you.
But he found Emma.
He is so mad at her.
Oh, I'm not very perceptive when it comes to that.
No, he's very angry.
My emotional intelligence when it comes to this is fairly low.
Well, Snow and Charming are back in fairy tale world.
Yes.
In the flashback, and they are attempting to take back the kingdom from Regina, and she stops them.
Well, and we saw that scene where they said, "We're going to take back the kingdom." We saw that in another episode.
Yes.
This is what happens
sort of
after.
It out. So if she gives up the kingdom, Regina will let her, Charming, and the dwarves live, and they can go leave the kingdom and go live in his farm.
Right.
And Charming won't go. Everybody else is fine with that. And Charming's like, "No, I'm not going to let you lose your kingdom." So that's a little suspicious because you do start thinking, are you doing it just to keep the crown? Or do you care more about the status of being the prince? But Regina says to her, for every day that you deny me, I will kill one of the peasants.
Oh, man. And she lifts that girl up and she's choking her.
And she says, you may have been a princess, but you will never be a queen.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Charming then decides that he's going to go find Rumpelstiltskin and get some advice.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And that's when they do the whole sword and the stone thing.
Right,
yes.
right.
Sham. And Snow got it out. Then the next time they met Regina, she's feeling strong.
Yep.
And she's thinking...
She had a placebo.
And so he said, but...
And she, remember, she knows to turn around and she catches her on the face.
But she said it's only... He said...
It was all you.
It was you. I just wanted you to believe. I needed you to have something that you could believe in.
Right.
But now and you stood up to her and you won.
And rather than getting mad... She gives him snoochy boochies.
Right.
Snoochy boochies.
So, the only other thing I don't think we've talked about is Belle.
Yes.
Yes.
So
guys,
Molly,
what do you have to say about
Belle shows up, and why was Belle there? Do you remember?
Because Rumpelstiltskin conjured her.
Right. She was like a vision that he conjured. Now, why did he conjure her there?
Because he's a coward.
Yeah, he did admit that, didn't he?
Right. He had to admit he was a coward and he was afraid of being like his dad.
Uh-huh.
So do you think we're going to see that story eventually?
Yeah.
I think so too. And I wonder who his dad is.
Well, wait a second. Pan offered...
Oh, man. Another relation. I wonder what's going to be next.
Right.
Pan offered Rumpelstiltskin a deal. He can live if Pan keeps Henry.
Yes.
And that's what Rumpelstiltskin's afraid of, is that he's going to let his cowardice...
Right. Allow Henry to be killed.
Allow him to give up Henry.
Yeah.
And so he's struggling with
When
that.
he says to Belle, this makes my job a lot easier, because then he doesn't have to kill Henry, because that's what he felt he had to do. But the good part of Rump is coming through here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like the whole Belle thing, and I was really glad she was in this. I like that they're not just taking all the characters from the last 2 seasons and saying, okay, we're going to keep these 5 and then not really readdress them. We saw her show back up. We've seen the dwarves. We haven't gotten to Ruby or Granny yet, but I'm sure they're going to pop up in this story.
Somewhere.
Or at least some point here, don't you?
Yeah, no, I want to see Storybrooke. I want to see what's going on there.
I have a feeling we'll end up back in Storybrooke rather soon.
Like on the next episode?
No, probably not. I think they're going to be in Neverland for a little bit. But then I think the second half of the season for sure is going to be back in Storybrooke. Because that's when we deal with Oz and we deal with the Wicked Witch. Spoilers! That's coming! Those are all the ads for this season. So is that it, you guys?
Yeah, I think we've covered it all.
All right, let's wrap it up. You can find past episodes of this and all our other podcasts, as well as links to all of our social media at our website, which is
www.southgatemediagroup.com.
Correct. You can also find us on iTunes and Stitcher and TuneIn Radio. Please rate us and review us. It really helps us out and it helps other people find our show. We really want Once Upon a Time fans to embrace us and to favorite things here. It really helps us. That's it. Now let's end this show the way every great fairy tale ends.
Happily ever after.
The end. If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.